Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. The Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community. JAG Physical Therapy. Georgian Court University. Valley National Bank. Verizon. And by Fedway Associates. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. And by Observer New Jersey Politics.
Welcome to State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio in beautiful Newark, New Jersey. Speaking of Newark, this young lady knows Newark very well. Yeah. She is Karen Hunter. Our good friend Karen Hunter is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM Radio. Heard every day?
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
What time?
3 p.m. Eastern.
How cool is the show?
Very. It's so cool. I can't stand myself some days.
What's the focus?
Oh, well now, my focus right now is trying to come up with solutions and heal the nation. You know, it's a lot. It's a heavy burden.
Especially for you're a Jersey girl.
Yeah, I'm a Jersey girl.
And here's the thing. You and I, Karen and I have been having this conversation forever. For those of you who have seen us before, Karen and I co-anchored a show in public broadcasting a couple of years back, and we still work together now in a whole range of situations. And the one thing she's always talked about is, how can we have a more civil, meaningful, productive political discourse? Really?
Yeah, no, I actually have gone off the rails a little bit. My patience is not what it ever has been. And, I think I'm frustrated. I'm a little frustrated. I just feel like I don't know where we actually make this work. And it's tough some days.
And you're an optimist. You're scaring me.
Yeah, right I know.
What do you think it is that's, the tipping point, if you will?
I just think and I teach journalism, right? So, I'm talking to my students about news and what's fake and what's real and what's BS. And I think we have spent maybe, and it's media's fault, 5 to 7 years in a place where there was no accountability, where people, fostered opinions and pushed opinions as opposed to factual-based, news gathering. And it became the norm. Blogs took off. And people's opinion, again, became this thing. And Facebook and other Reddit and other places allow people to have forums that didn't deserve to have forums.
Not a good thing?
No, not a good thing.
Really?
No, I think we need to have a compass that says this is due north, this is correct, this is right, this is wrong. We've talked about this before. I grew up watching Walter Cronkite, and my dad made me watch 6 o'clock every evening, Channel 2, which is CBS.
What'd you take from it?
That there is a right and wrong, and that in journalism there are people who understand how to deliver that, and it's okay. We should have not my side or your side, but this is what's happening in the world.
And to that end, when I've joined you on your show, and you've been here before, we've talked a lot about the phenomena of Donald Trump, but now President Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. We're taping this in the fall of 2017. All kinds of things are going to happen daily. What is your sense of the president and the degree to which he has contributed in any meaningful, positive way to the discourse that we all
Did you say positive?
Yeah. Or any way.
The best thing about Donald Trump is I think he has awakened a lot of people. I was at a luncheon at Rayo's.
Rayo's over in East Harlem.
Yeah.
It's not Manhattan, it's East Harlem.
Okay. All right. So I'm at a luncheon with some well-heeled people, New York liberals, and they were shocked. They were shocked. I can't believe the racial Charlottesville. They were shocked. And I'm like,
were
what?
You?
No. We've been living in a nation that has, a kid went into a church and murdered people. You know, this wasn't under Trump. This was during Obama's administration. Something's going on in this country, and it's not the president's. I think there's something going on in this country that we've ignored.
What is it?
We could call it evil, but I think it's a lack of connection. That we don't see one another as human beings. We don't see one another as family members or even as Americans. You know, we have this otherism that we promote, you know, that we're cool, I'm cool, my people are cool, but these other people are not and somehow not worthy. And I think that, you know, Trump is a symptom of that. We have Trump because that's more prevalent than we'd like to think.
Is it largely based around race?
Yeah, I think race becomes a thing. I've been toying with something recently that I'm hoping will catch fire. You know, this kind of elimination of whiteness. Yeah.
Explain that.
So the term white people is made up. You know, it was a made up construct. You're Italian. You know.
Italian American. My family's from Italy.
Yeah, but your culture.
That's
you know,
right.
you know what that is. When I tell you, when I talk about rails, you understand. If you're Polish, you know what your culture is. If you're Irish, you know what your culture is. Scottish, Chinese, you know. Korean, Jewish, you know. What's white? What's white food, white music, white? It was a made-up construct, and I think we could trace it back to 1618. It was first discovered in literature, but it was designed to separate this term that you're white and I'm not. And so to justify a system of slavery and then Jim Crow and then this whole, you know, kind of otherism that I'm talking about, you have to have, you know, white and black, right?
And I'm sorry for interrupting, Karen, but quote, Black Lives Matter contributes how to the public discourse?
Black Lives Matter, again, is a symptom. It's a frustration. It came on the heels of Trayvon Martin's trial that acquitted George Zimmerman for murdering this boy who was simply coming home. And 3 mothers, I believe, came together to form this. But since then, it has taken on some... Is it a
positive force?
I mean, it's a force. You can't. I'm not going to say it's negative, you know, because it's here, and it's here because of something that forced it into being. You know, if there wasn't forced into being, you know, this kind of frustration that I can just be indiscriminately taken off of this earth because somebody viewed me as dangerous. You know, Trayvon Martin, 17 years old, coming home to his father's house, is not here anymore because somebody deemed him as a thug.
No doubt. But as I talk to some of my friends, happen to be white in this case, many of them cops. Right. Who will make reference to, and you and I, we don't hold back on anything. And so some of those friends have said, you know what, I get the Black Lives Matter movement, but when I hear some folks in that movement in a rally say, what do we want, a dead cop, what do we want? Now, they don't know, and neither do I.
Right. Well, I mean, we could then
That wasn't the purpose of them.
No, not at all. But, you know, within every movement, within every group, there's going to be people who are going to go rogue and do. That's not the center or the heart of it. You know, at any point in time, I could be part of Black Lives Matter, you know.
But you wouldn't say that.
I would never say that because I'm a human being.
That's
but that, again, that speaks to where we are, and it goes across the board. But I always look at cause and effect, right? Everything has a beginning point. We always try to start the story somewhere in the middle or towards the end, but there's a genesis to everything that's happening in this country, right?
Where do we go now, though? I mean, you know, you got Trump. You've got everything around Trump, everyone who supports Trump, and things need to be done. We need to solve problems.
Yeah, we need infrastructure. Yeah.
And the conversation is often not about those things.
Well, and often because somebody's tweeting at 3 a.m. about dumb stuff or retweeting somebody taking a swing at a golf ball and hitting Hillary Clinton
What's
in the
up
head.
with that?
It's lack of discipline. It's you know, a sense of you know, I don't know what it is. I want to say it's a medical event. You know, that would make me feel better about it. But I just think that somebody wasn't prepared for the highest office in the land, the highest office in the world.
We should also be clear. You've said publicly in the past that you have been a Republican.
Yeah, registered. I still am.
Just want to clarify.
Registered Republican.
In the time we have left, in New Jersey, we've got an interesting race for governor. I don't want to get into the weeds. I want to nationalize it.
Right.
To what degree does this race even matter nationally?
Probably not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Only one of... Virginia and New Jersey are the only two states in the nation with a race for governor. It doesn't matter.
We're Jerseyans, right? So, you know, we've had Christie and we've had Florio. You know, we've had Christie Todd Whitman and we've had, you know, Jim McGreevey. You know,
where's New Jersey fit in the nation?
It is schizophrenic. Jersey.
Really?
I mean, you know, we are resilient and tough, and whoever's sitting in that office, and it's not even, I can't even compare it to the national landscape, because we you know, even Christie, you know, we checked him, you know, even though he was doing some, you know, some things that may not have been appropriate, you know, we show up and we vote, and there'll be another governor who'll be the opposite, because that's what we do, right?
See that we swing back and forth?
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do.
Let me ask you this in the time we have left. The silver lining in terms of race relations, in terms of having a more civil, meaningful discourse to move forward in solving some of at least making progress. Tell me where it is. Because if not, what are we going to do?
We have to. We're Americans. We're from Jersey.
That's right.
I'm optimistic, and I think Trump has awakened, as I said before, a lot of people to understand that there's something going on here, and each individual has a responsibility to do something about it. We can no longer sit in our little stettles and our little, you know, home, you know, cul-de-sacs and bury our heads in the sand.
Gotta be engaged.
It will impact you, so we have to. Yeah.
Talking about being engaged, check out Karen's show every day on SiriusXM Radio, 3 to 6 p.m. It also repeats. You're also building some other. You're building an entire operation.
Yeah, Urban View is powerful right now. We just produced a couple of new shows, and I'm really excited about the direction. But it's about engaging people. So we have a lawyer, Laura Coates, who's a CNN analyst. She has a show. We have a comedian named Godfrey, who's Spitfire.
Godfrey, who I know. Godfrey's great.
Godfrey, we're doing a power hour. I just want to give people, you know, many outlets to have conversations.
Jersey girl does very well.
Yes, and so does a Jersey man.
Thanks, partner.
Yes, love you.
I love you too. And we're not just saying that for TV media. This is State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato. This is Karen Hunter. We'll be right back.
To see more State of Affairs with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at stateofaffairsnj.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are pleased to be joined as part of our series looking at veterans issues by Vincent Immiti, who is the Director of the Department of Veteran Affairs, New Jersey Healthcare System. Vincent, thank you for joining us. We just had a panel discussion here at the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey talking about the needs of veterans. Talk about your role in all this.
Well, our new secretary has got us really...
Secretary
of Veterans Affairs has got us very excited about reaching out to veterans and providing those services to veterans they need when they need them. So if we are going to provide veteran services, they don't necessarily have to be at the medical center or at one of our 10 outpatient clinics. They may be at a community medical center. Whatever the veteran needs, we are emphatic about getting that service provided for the veterans.
Is it hard to access and have veterans access what you and your colleagues provide?
Well, we serve currently 47,000 veterans a year, 47,000 unique
In
patients.
New Jersey?
In New Jersey, yes, sir.
47,000?
47,000.
What kinds of services are we talking about?
We are a tertiary care medical center. We provide medicine, surgery. We have a very large psychiatric and mental health practice. We have long-term care. We have residential care, all kinds of rehab therapy.
Let's talk about the mental health issues. What are we talking about?
PTSD.
How does it manifest itself?
It manifests itself with patients flashing back, generally, not being able to hold a job oftentimes because there's a trigger that sets them off, and they have a very difficult time coming back into the community after their service. We are experts in PTSD and have been for many years. During 9/11, for example, we were called upon, the VA in general was called upon to help with post-traumatic stress syndrome with all the patients who were experiencing those kinds of symptoms in private industry. So we are expert in it. I am not a clinician as far as mental health services are concerned, but we do have a very large cadre of both male and female services. Believe it or not, we actually have a PTSD unit specifically for female patients with PTSD.
Why?
Female patients have to be, I don't want to say segregated because that's the wrong term. They have to be treated differently than males because they have different issues. And oftentimes, the male influence is what started their PTSD in the first place.
Really?
So having them separated helps them to heal and helps them to become more, I don't want to say healed, but
Is that they get that unique, specialized help they need?
yes, specific to females.
Let me ask you this about the VA. Let's deal with the perception issue on the part of some. That the VA has not done the job that it is needed to do to help our veterans, and that some watching right now, veterans, family members, and others, citizens who care, aren't convinced that the VA is the place to go, you say?
I would say so, but we are committed to taking that perception and turning it around.
How so?
Our secretary, again, we had a meeting in Washington a couple of months ago, and he talked about the CEO of Amazon. And the CEO of Amazon said he was customer obsessed. Well, I would argue that we need to be veteran obsessed. And that's what our secretary is asking us to do, is to go and get the veteran whatever they need, within the confines of the law, obviously, but what they need, when they need it, where they need it.
Is that different than the previous culture of the VA?
Well, generally, years ago, before we had community-based outpatient clinics, everything was at the medical center.
Like, you got to come to us. We're here. You want to find us? Find us.
Exactly.
If not, it's your problem.
Now we're reaching out to communities, we're reaching out to veterans groups, and we want to bring the veterans in. We want to treat those veterans who need our services.
Why do you do what you do?
My dad was a veteran. My dad actually passed away in a VA medical center a few days after Hurricane Sandy, as luck would have it. And I watched the care that he got. And I was proud of the care he got. In the VA. I watched the care he got. And the story really is that I had just left his bedside. My mom was still at his bedside, and we got a call as soon as I got home that he was breathing his last. When I went back, there were 2 nurses' aides in the room sitting with my mother, and they were just comforting her. When I got there, they both stood up, and they gave me a hug, said they were sorry, and they left us there. That level of caring always struck a chord with me, and I said, this is what I aspire to and continue to aspire to do with my career. I want us to be that caring institution that takes care of those people who defended our freedom. And I believe in that mission, and I believe in that mission every single day.
Well said. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To see more State of Affairs with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at stateofaffairsnj.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
State of Affairs is pleased to welcome State Assemblyman Declan O'Scanlon, Republican, 13th Legislative District, mostly Monmouth County?
All Monmouth County. It's in Monmouth County. It's contained in Monmouth County, about a third of Monmouth County, just a little bit more than that.
In the legislature since 2007?
Yes. Well, I was elected in 07 and sworn in January of 08, technically.
Best thing about the legislature is?
Being right there while the policy is being made. It's been an incredible experience to, we're New Jersey, right? I could have gone my whole career without having a governor in the State House, a Republican governor. That's been cool. We got a lot of really cool things done in the last 8 years that people told me we may never get done. The first rounds of pension health benefits reforms, the property tax cap, arbitration award cap, things that are making a real difference. And we're saving billions of dollars for people right now because of those things.
Most frustrating part about being in the legislature is?
Not being able to get everything done that we know needs to be done. We know we need another round of at least health benefits reform.
What do you mean with public employees?
Yes, there's no
Many
question.
of them say, hey, we've given enough.
Well,
we already negotiated. We
you know
gave
what?
up all kinds of things. You want more from us?
That's okay with me. They just have to figure out how we're going to balance our budget if we don't do that. If you look,
They have to figure out, and not the legislature
if
and
they're
the
going to
next governor?
refuse the option that I have said is essential, and I know it's essential, by the way, there's no debate. I know the budget as well as any single person
By the
in the
way,
state.
the Assemblyman is, in fact, the ranking member in the Assembly when it comes to budget matters. You know this stuff.
I do. I know it cold. If there was a way to balance our budget without asking public employees to work with us again, I would be happy to do it. And there's a way, by the way, to do these reforms where we're not just dumping the costs onto public employees. In fact, by making use of exchanges and other efficiencies, you almost can keep public employees whole if we do it soon enough. The longer we kick the can down the road, the tougher that becomes, and the more essential it'll become to do another round of pension reform. If we wait any longer than another year, it's a real problem.
Top 3 issues the next governor of New Jersey is going to face.
Balancing the budget, and that entails then getting into pension, health benefits reform, property taxes are on top of everybody's list, and again, pension and health benefits reform, and I would focus on health benefits reform first, hoping to avoid the pension reform, will help save billions of dollars on the property tax level too. And then there's shared services promotion.
School funding.
School funding is a big deal, and we started this year, and there was some, believe it or not, some good bipartisan effort looking at reworking the school funding formula. There's a way to get there as well without a whole lot of pain, but it's got to be, we have to rework it, there's no question.
Real quick on this. We work closely with the New Jersey Sharing Network.
Yep.
Organ and tissue
Great
donation. The
organization.
organization's website will be up right now. Try to raise awareness around some organ and tissue donation issues. You have led the effort. Help me on this. You've been a key player in the legislature, the organ donor registry. You're saying as people get the driver's license, right? Sign up, there's an opportunity to say, I'm on board, I want to donate.
But you can't. You can't right now until you're 18. So all your first brushes, when you're learning about organ donation in school, which it has to be taught, you have to wait until you're 18 before you can actually sign up. And we're one of the, I think we're the only state now that still has that restriction.
What's wrong with it?
Well, the problem is that you go to the MVC at 16 to get your permit.
Motor vehicles operation?
No, it's the law, right? You have the law.
You go to the...
You go, when you go to get when you touch the MVC, they should be asking you right from the start. At 14, 15, you can get an ID, then you get a moped license, then you get your
That's the motor vehicle
driver's
commission.
license. Yes, the MVC,
Okay.
yep. Right now, they're not allowed to ask you to sign up, and you're not allowed
By law,
to sign up.
you can't ask.
Exactly.
So what are you trying to change?
We're going to bring it down to 14. Let people
Not too
sign
young?
up. No, because it doesn't commit them. It's a way to indicate their preference. And kids are very conscious, and they're being taught about organ donation at those ages. Let's let them sign up. New Jersey ranks about 43rd in the nation of people that are pre-signed up to donate organs. We say yes on a pretty high level. About 65% of people say yes when they're asked, when the tragedy happens. But we should get those numbers up. I mean, we're ranking 43rd is not
And thousands of people, by the way, it's a fact, it's not anyone's opinion, thousands of people, in fact, in New Jersey and across the country continue to be waiting.
And die while waiting for organs. There's people who are waiting for organs, and they die while waiting for organs. That, today, people will die while waiting for organs. The more awareness we have, the other thing people need to do, once they do make their preference and register, they need to tell their family that this is their intention as well. A lot of times people sign up, say nothing to their family, tragedy strikes, and the family says,
They don't know.
Wait, we don't want to donate these organs, and they can override.
By the way, real quick, before I get off this subject, where do things stand right now with the legislation?
Passed the Assembly, and we need to move it in the Senate. Nick Sacco is the chair, the Transportation Committee, which is where it is right now. Good guy. We want to make it happen in lame duck and get it done. Joe Carrillo's a sponsor. Joe Vitale's a sponsor. It's bipartisan. Pat Deignan is on it as well. It's great legislation. It will help us. There's very few things we in the legislature can do that we could say, we're actually saving lives.
Yeah.
We like to think everything we do is life.
Watch this segue. There isn't any one that makes any sense. 1 minute left. Donald Trump has been good for the nation or not, or something in between?
The jury's still out. I'm not gonna be a partisan and say that, we don't know yet. I wish we looked a little bit more organized at the federal level. Yeah, you always have concerns at the beginning of a presidency. At this time, I went back and saw some of the articles about President Obama at this stage of his presidency. People had concerns then, too.
The same
now,
concerns?
some of us had...
The same concerns?
It depends on where you are on the political spectrum. People on the right were terrified of President Obama and what his agenda was going to be. This presidency, I know that there's people on the left who are pronouncing it dead. It's a long way from that. Donald Trump can end up being seen as a good president. He's got a lot of work to do. It feels like there's chaos right now in D.C. I don't like that. Let's get our act together. There's some other things I don't like. Not a big fan of Jeff Sessions, if you want to tease that out of me. A
few seconds, go ahead.
Look, I think that I would much rather have Donald Trump and Republicans choosing Supreme Court justices. Right there, it's a winner for the nation.
Declan O'Scanlon, thank you for joining us on State of Affairs.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by New Jersey Sharing Network, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, JAG Physical Therapy, Georgian Court University, Valley National Bank, Verizon, and by Fedway Associates.
Hi, I'm Peter Rooney. In 2006, I lost my father to renal disease. He was on the waiting list for a new kidney, but did not receive one in time. Unfortunately, so many like my father have lost their lives while waiting for a life-saving organ. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and by informing people about this important decision. Because you can make a difference and save a life.